Bloober Team, perhaps one of the biggest and most talented horror-focused video game studios today, dropped a huge teaser at the start of the New Year's. This teaser was in the form of a cryptic message hidden inside of a URL that took fans to a website that had nothing on it except for a countdown that ends on Valentine's Day next month. As you would imagine, fans began to speculate heavily as to what this message could mean, with multiple people using all sorts of ways and creative methods to ultimately break down this hidden message by Bloober Team and ultimately decipher what is his famous horror game studio teasing on Valentine's Day. So in this episode of Nerdspace Games, I'm gonna jump straight into speculation mode as I give you guys all of the different possibilities that I think Bloober Team is probably teasing here, while also giving you guys my thoughts as to which game do I think is most likely the case for this teaser. In fact, I'll rank the possibilities from least likely to most likely based on my own opinion, of course. Before we get started though, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel for more survival horror content. Also, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's topic. Anyway, my name is Ruben with Nerdspace Games, and here are 5 horror games that Bloober Team's cryptic message could be teasing. Let's get it. Number 5, Silent Hill 1 Remake. Okay, so let's go ahead and knock out the answer that everybody probably wants this teaser to point towards the most, but ultimately out of the 5 possibilities that I came up with, it's honestly the least likely to be the case in my opinion. As I'm sure some of you already know, Konami and Bloober Team confirmed that they are currently working on a Silent Hill 1 remake, but unfortunately we didn't see any trailer or anything like that when it was first announced. Honestly, I think a big reason for that is because it's nowhere close to releasing, potentially targeting a late 2027 release date or even 2028 to be straight with you guys. Still, there's a small possibility that Bloober Team could potentially be teasing the reveal trailer of Silent Hill 1 Remake. For one, the whole big countdown thing obviously points to something that Bloober Team is extremely excited about. Otherwise, why make such a big deal about this cryptic message thing and this whole countdown to Valentine's Day thing? Also, Silent Hill is kind of famous for cryptic messages and riddles in their games, so assuming this one could point towards a reveal trailer for Silent Hill 1 Remake really isn't definitely out of the realm of possibilities here. That being said, nothing else really reminds me of Silent Hill 1 Remake outside of those few things I said, and the whole it ends on Valentine's Day thing with the countdown. Yeah, what significance is there to Silent Hill 1 of all things with Valentine's Day? All in all, while this is a possibility, I think it's the least likely one out of all the games featured on today's list. Number 4, Observer 2. One of the most underrated horror games created by Bloober Team is the sci-fi detective noir horror game Observer. This game puts you into the shoes of a detective in a distant future that allows you to solve cases and unravel mysteries with the use of a unique tool that allows you to see into the minds of both deceased and living victims, throwing you into a wild and unpredictable horror story. Quite honestly, it's probably one of the best written horror stories by Bloober Team in my opinion, even if the gameplay lacked in comparison to newer Bloober Team games like Silent Hill 2 Remake and Cronos the New Dawn. As for why I think Observer 2 could potentially be what Bloober Team is teasing here, well, one of the possible solutions for the secret message reads, "Remove your old dreams, chosen seer." Now, honestly, this is a phrase that I will be using a lot when talking about the possible games that Bloober Team is teasing here, as it's my favorite solution so far that people have come up with. But if we wanted to connect this message to Observer specifically, it's not really that hard to do. Considering the fact that the whole premise of the original game was the ability to see into the memories of victims to solve different cases, yeah, in a way, the protagonist could definitely be described as a seer of some sort. Although, let's be real, considering the amount of projects on Bloober Team's play already, I doubt this teaser will be for a game that we don't already know about, as it's impossible for this game to be Project M, since that game is confirmed to be a Nintendo Switch exclusive, and Observer was originally released on PlayStation. Number 3, Silent Hill 2 Born from a Wish DLC. Ever since Silent Hill 2 Remake release, there's been a lot of rumors and so-called leaks hinting towards the fact that we will be getting a Born from a Wish DLC at some point. For those that don't already know, Born from a Wish was an additional side story that was exclusive to the Xbox release of the original Silent Hill 2 game. Spoilers for anybody that hasn't played Silent Hill 2 Remake yet, but the original story in the original Silent Hill 2 followed Maria, a manifestation of James's lust for everything he wanted Mary, his deceased wife, to be. Essentially, she's the true main villain of the game, and the Born from a Wish DLC basically told us her story from the moment she was created to the moment she meets James by the lake in the main story. It was a really cool story, and ever since Bloober Team teased this expansion thanks to an Easter egg in the main game itself, fans have been wanting the remake version of this expansion. It also doesn't help that notable leakers like Des Gollum have said on multiple occasions that Born from a Wish is something that Bloober Team has been working on, and he's honestly surprised we haven't seen anything on it yet. So yeah, one possibility is that Bloober Team could be teasing this this DLC with this cryptic message. There's actually a lot of things that kind of point towards this, to be honest. The biggest thing being when this countdown ends on Valentine's Day. I'm not saying Silent Hill 2 is the most romantic horror game, but obviously the relationship of James and his late wife Mary are a major part of the story. So yeah, maybe that's your connection right there. Another connection is the concept of the cryptic message itself. Looking back at Silent Hill 2 Remake, there was this one Easter egg that focused on hidden messages on photos that ultimately confirmed a long-running fan theory that James was caught in a loop for 20 years straight. You also have some phrases that fans threw out there pointing to words like dreams and memories, both of which have a deep connection to the story of Silent Hill 2. Number 2, Project M. Honestly, I went back and forth about which game I wanted to put in the number 1 spot, but ultimately I decided that Project M, a horror game that Bloober Team confirmed to be working on exclusively for the Nintendo Switch, would be the number 2 on today's list. Now, Project M is actually a really interesting entry to talk about because it could point to one of two possibilities alone. One, Project M could be a brand new IP created by Bloober Team. I mean, all that we really know about this game is that it's being developed by Bloober Team, obviously, it's exclusive to the Nintendo Switch, and that it has a smaller budget compared to other recent titles by Bloober Team. Outside of that, there's not really anything else that we know about this game. So if it is indeed a brand new IP, then maybe it has something to do with romance in the story, hence the Valentine's Day countdown. It's also the only other game that we know for sure Bloober Team is working on outside of Silent Hill 1 Remake, right? So there's that going for it too. However, it is kind of weird for Bloober Team to do this big countdown thing for a game that is arguably smaller than their other projects like Cronos the New Dawn and Silent Hill 2. So what if, and I know this is me reaching because I love this original game so much, but what if Project M is actually a remake? And since we know Project M is a Nintendo exclusive game, it needs to be a remake of an exclusive Nintendo game from back in the day, right? Like, I don't know, maybe Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem? I know, not very likely. The original developers of this game shut down years ago, and this IP has been dead for God knows how long now. But considering how popular survival horror games are right now in this moment, it's not completely impossible to think that Nintendo would want to jump in on that survival horror remake craze going on right now, and Eternal Darkness is arguably the best exclusive survival horror game in their catalog. As to how we connect it, I don't know, maybe the seer thing again. The main story of Eternal Darkness focused on the protagonist revisiting the memories of her ancestors, so yeah, I'd call her a seer, you know? Obviously, the latter part of this entry is a stretch as more than likely Project M is a brand new IP, but just imagine this turned out to be an Eternal Darkness remake. I would lose my shit. Number 1, Cronos the New Dawn DLC. Going back to DLCs for games recently released by Bloober Team, another possibility we could look at that quite honestly makes a lot of sense to me is Cronos the New Dawn. Yeah, while it's definitely way too early for this to be a teaser for a sequel to Cronos, an expansion for sure is in the realm of possibilities. As to the pieces of evidence that point towards Cronos, well, for one, you have the aesthetic of the website and this hidden message, both of which really gives me Cronos vibes, at least in terms of the way everything kind of looks with it. Also, going off the message that I mentioned earlier, the word seer could definitely point towards the warden or even the protagonist of Cronos, both of which are people that have the ability to examine the minds of the people around them by extracting the essence from individuals they came across. However, probably the biggest piece of evidence that ultimately makes me lean towards Cronos the New Dawn DLC is a single word that you could pull from this phrase. By looking at the thinner letters in the phrase, you are left with the following 6 letters: N, S, O, O, C, R. Unscramble these letters and you get a single word: Cronos. I haven't been able to decipher the rest of the message if this is indeed what it's pointing towards, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were more words to this that gave us the name of the expansion along with the word Cronos. Hell, you can even sort of connect it to Valentine's Day when you think about it, as the warden and his motivation in the game kind of connects it to Valentine's Day, or kind of romance in general, if you know what I mean. Let me know what you guys think about this one, because quite honestly, I really truly believe that this is what the cryptic message is pointing towards, unfortunately, as much as I really want it to be Eternal Darkness, a remake of that game, that is. But that's it for this episode of Nerdspace Games. Hit up the comments and let me know what you think of my list. What do you think that Bloober Team is teasing with this cryptic message? What do you hope they are teasing? And do you think it'll be any of the possibilities I listed off in today's video, or do you think it'll be something else completely different, like, I don't know, a Layers of Fear 3 or something like that, or maybe the Medium 2? Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Anyway, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more survival horror content. Also, leave a like on today's video if you enjoyed today's topic. But thanks for watching, and as always, I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Nerdspace Games. Take care.